I want to talk today, kind of review rotational rooting. I watched a little bit when you guys were doing it. Still have some the well there's a so what I said before, rotational rooting, uh as you do it longer and longer, you'll go into different chapters. You know, when you first learn it, that's entry level. You just around how to move around, how to find your foot placement, how to just focus on those very basic instructions. And then when you get into the next chapter, you start to feel the alignment. You start to feel the emptying of the arms. And then you get into another chapter. You start developing the connection to the ground. You start to feel this energy flow, not just only within yourself, but also connecting to the ground. So each year, as you do rotational rooting, it's not going to be the same. And that's just the evolvement of the practice of that movement. And that goes for all the movements, not just rotational rooting, but I'm just talking about rotational rooting as an example, and kind of go over some of the details of to do it correctly. Well, first, it begs the question, why are we doing rotational rooting? We're just not doing this mundane movement of just bringing the arms around. If you do it as an exercise, you get a little bit of exercise, but we're not doing it for that reason at all. But again, you do get some exercise on the legs. Your back gets a little stronger because of the rotation. And then those are good for health anyway, right? So that's a bonus. But why are we doing rotational rooting? Because the word rooting, we're learning to connect to the ground without force, without resistance or tension, without thinking about it too much. We want our gravity, the zone, to release so that we could develop the zone. Every time we do a rotation, we're moving that energy. We're generating energy to go down in alignment into the ground. And the more we can do that, the rooting, like a tree, goes deeper and deeper and deeper. That's why we're doing it. And why is that important? Because the internal system practice, doing the Tai Chi form, doing push hands, rooting is a big part of it, right? Without the rooting, then you don't have the connection to Earth's energy, and it becomes just a physical, external type of practice, which is not the direction that we're going here at on Bridge Tai Chi. So why we do it? We do it for those reasons of rooting. Now, how to do it? When we're doing the rooting series, the rotational rooting, we don't want a very wide stance. We never want a wide stance. And whether we're doing push hands or whether we're doing a Tai Chi form, because we're not doing it for performance. We're not doing it for like a presentation to try to make it look like we're doing something very flashy or anything like that. As far as I'm concerned, the essence of Tai Chi and what it's about is nothing about being flashy. It's nothing about like making it look very like showing off, lack of a better word. It has nothing to do with that. It has to do with how to develop yourself as a person, how to develop health, and how to do things related to those two. So the foot positioning is just like shoulder width, one leg forward and one leg back. So if one leg was in the back, it's 45 degrees and one leg is forward. Now, some of you still have it a little bit too close. You don't want to do it in a tight rope. You want to make sure you're separated at least shoulder width. It's not parallel because one leg is forward and one leg is back. We do for that reason because now we're getting introduced to yin and yang, one leg forward, one leg back. And when we're doing the rotational rooting, we must be in a seated down position. If we're not in a seated position, the energy cannot flow. Okay, the knees must be bent to allow the energy to go down to the ground. And how we want to do it is that we want to maintain the one continuous energy. So I still see people doing it like this, where they're bringing it around and then they stop and then they do it again. They stop and they do it again. Of course, I'm exaggerating a little bit to kind of make a point, but when you do one continuous energy, it doesn't stop. See, it just keeps going. It's like a merry-go-round that the ride is keeps going. It's not stopping yet. The merry-go-round is still going around. See, still going around. So I don't want to bring it around and stop and stop and stop. I don't want to do that. Okay, so it just goes around and around and around. Every time I'm going around, I'm really spiraling. The more I can spiral in that circle, the more the energy will go on the ground. Okay. So also, when we're doing it, as we're bringing it around, I've always said, don't go forward. Once you go forward, then you're not developing the rooting of the back leg. You're, going forward. We don't want to do that. So we stay in the back leg, and essentially your back leg becomes a post, like a fence post. It continues to rotate like that, keeps on rotating, rotating. And every time it rotates, another important quality that you're developing as you start to, feel it more and more is you're developing the strength of the quad. Okay. And really, when you talk about the strength of the quads, it's really the strength of the waist, the power of the waist. When you read Tai Chi books or Tai Chi articles, they talk about the power of the waist. And that, of course, that's more the martial arts side of it. And we don't, that's not the premise and the focus of what we do at Heartbridge Tai Chi. But to develop that waist is still important because that's part of moving as one unit. That's part of one part moves, all part moves. And the claw helps to kind of guide the whole unit because the waist is loosened, energy goes to the ground. Now the center of the body, the core, is able to guide the two limbs on top, the two arms, and the two limbs on bottom, both legs. You feel everything working in harmony. So that's another important point that you need to develop. One thing you develop in all the rooting series is the supple elbow. Now take a look at me doing the first thing we do when we come to class. See, this is the elbow right here, right? The supple elbow. It goes in both directions. When it's done right, the elbows to the shoulder is not disturbed. When it's not disturbed, the center becomes more calm and is not disturbed. Once the shoulders move from here to here, now you're not training supple elbow. The same thing applies in rotational rooting. See, just use imagination. See the arms? I'm doing the same thing. See, the same thing. See, doing the same thing. And once you understand how that feeling represents internally, the supple elbow becomes like a round ball, 360. And as it moves more and more in all different directions, like when you're doing form, see, the same thing applies, the supple elbow. Then you learn not to disturb the center as you're moving in a dynamic movement. Okay, that plays out. So how do we do it? Again, when we keep the energy in the back, we don't shift forward. We make sure we rotate the rolling 8 ball. Okay, we're developing the quad each time we turn. The elbows, just like we're doing the supple elbows, we bring it around. Okay, and we bring it around. Some people are doing this. They prep push it down. No, just let it go down on its own accord. Okay. Anytime you try to manually do something, then you're developing less on the rooting because you're trying to manually bring it around. Okay? And the movement of how big of a circle you want to do depends on uh, the development and how much energy you want to go to the back. You can do a small circle, which is still good, it's still developmental. You can also do a bigger circle, okay? Do a bigger circle. And that puts more energy going onto the back leg. But if you have any kind of previous injury or it's too tiring, just do a small circle, it's okay. And then over the course of long term, you can make a bigger circle to have more energy go in the back leg. And from there, you just develop different elements of how good. As long as you follow the principle, you can change it, or lacking a better word, spice it to develop that rooting in rotational rooting. And among all the exercises, it's one of my favorite because that's what kind of got me into doing the rooting series. It was the rotational rooting. Didn't understand the rooting series too much early on, but because of my persistence to keep up with the rotational rooting, that led me into doing the thing. Hold on a second, my mom is, so I got to take that call. Hold on a second. Oh, she just hung up. She probably got mad at me, so it's okay. All right. So that's on rotational rooting. Okay. Again, in summary, what I said earlier, it goes into different chapters. Just because you know how to do it right now, you're really still on chapter 1, maybe on chapter 2, just scratching the surface. And the more you do it, the feeling is going to change with each different chapter. Your routine will develop more and more. So it becomes a very different internal expression and what you will develop. And don't have concern of, when it's going to happen. I don't feel it now. That's not the mindset you need to have. The mindset you have is just keep doing it every day. And over the course of time, as you continue to, keep caring for your garden, something will grow, something will develop, something will blossom, and you'll see the differences over the course of the long term. Okay, so that's on rotational rooting. I'll come back from it from time to time, and then I'll also talk about the other, the other two rooting series. And of course, Tuesday and Thursday is the Daily 10 series. We work on the 3 S's. So anytime you have questions on the Jongs, and now we just talked about the rooting series and the meditation walking. Those 3 are the foundational pieces to help you with the IST in a compact program that's comprehensive enough to guide you in a good direction as you develop. Okay, so we do have a few minutes.